Good afternoon, Peter here for the sixth lesson. I just turned the TV off, it's more bad news in my life. The production and capacity for testing. Oh, it stinks in here. It stinks in this thing. Oh, I think I'll turn it off. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. Look. This is the sixth lesson, I think, on how to draw. And today we're going to talk about one word. One word, not boundaries this time, or shading, or blocking in, or whatever. We're going to talk about a word called, I've forgotten what I'm talking about now. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, foreshortening. Foreshortening. Now you might be looking at this image, you might see my nose. You see, as I get closer, my nose gets bigger. Well, it should do anyway. Anyway, the point is, foreshortening is very important when it comes to drawing. Can you see me okay? Good. Anyway, somebody was saying on my last clip, my last video, a woman who should be nameless said, I should stick to photography. Oh, cheek. I mean, you know. Anyway, and somebody said there's too much of me, of my face in the images than anything else. Well, okay, I'm trying to give you a good talk, that's all. Anyway, look, that foreshortening. Now here's a good example. Let me bring it a bit closer. Hang on. This is a good example of foreshortening. Can you see that? Anyway, here, that's it. Now look, foreshortening is when you've got an object, and in this case it's a female figure, and whatever's close to you is much bigger than that which is further away, of course. So I was drawing literally nearly above her. The light was coming from behind me, and you can see that you know, this is much bigger and the head's much smaller. It's what you call foreshortening. A very good example is a painter called, I think he's got the same name as Saville. This book? Yes. Let me just check his name, because it'd be wrong to get his name wrong, wouldn't it? Hang on. His name, page 284 rather, is Jenny, oh it's a woman, Jenny Saville. Now isn't it funny, because a lot of the artists I like are female artists, don't know why, but this is by Jenny Saville, 1993. Anyway, this is a good example of foreshortening. You see the knee is so much closer than the head. The head is far away, further away. So she's exaggerated the knee. And that's what you call foreshortening. And that's what makes the image, I think, myself personally, so much more interesting. It's the foreshortening a little bit here, where you've got her back is closer and the head's much further away, so it's smaller. Now, if her head was here, it would be very big and this would be small. So, and another example is our good friend, my favourite, artiste, that not many people seem to like, but I think is very good. And that is Lucian Freud. Again, kind of self-portrait where here he is the leg is quite close. Well, it's kind of looking from below, looking up, and of course as he's got further, everything's got smaller up here. So it gets bigger and then bigger, and it's beautiful. And that's a good example of foreshortening. Have I got any more examples of this work? It's something I actually had once. But this is an etching I once owned in 1999. and sold it before he died, actually. Should have kept it, but again, it's a good example of foreshortening. It's one of his daughters, but I like this one especially because I like the use of space and the composition. It's just all this space here. I mean, you know, most artists would fill the whole thing with the image, but I think it's a very clever use of space and composition. And I'm sure he drew the square, the border first, and he knew exactly what he was doing. So anyway, I'm trying to see if I can see any more examples. Anyway, yes. I mean, his famous figure painting again is this one, where I know not many people like his work because it's so in your face, but I love the composition. He hasn't just what the French do, stick the model posing as if she's a model for some sort of Queen of Sheba, but this is a really interesting pose, and I love this way he's leaning on this and a bit on the bed. It's totally unmodel-like, but beautifully composed. Anyway, another example, just to let you, if anybody can, this is what we were talking about again when I was trying to explain about drawing in borders. Once you've drawn your square, your space that you're going to work in, you can then decide how to position in this case, the teapot within the space. And I like the way this artist has used the background to find and place the object in the space. I'm sure the artist didn't just start drawing the pot by itself. It found the pot by drawing these lines around it to find out where that started, pinpointing where that started, the handle, drawing the background to give you where the pot stands within this frame. It's so crucial to drawing. Such an important example. This is, if anything, this image says it all. It places the object because of these things around it. If you just placed the pot without anything, it would look suspended in midair, but it's because of these things behind that's located this pot. It's actually given you the proportion, everything to do with this teapot exactly. It's amazing. Really says a lesson. If you can do that in your drawing, that applies to landscape, portrait, figure painting, and still life, which is what this is. So please remember this drawing. It's the best example. It's a bit like when I was telling you about when I did this little sketch the other day. The only reason that's placed there is because of these background images, these things. So please follow that, and then you might be getting somewhere. All the best. Bye.